Well, good morning, everybody. It's Bob here. And today I want to talk about an idea that's occurred to me as I'm building a new class. So I'm designing a class that is for first-time leaders, people who are put in charge of teams, put in charge of divisions or parts of their organization. And as I've gone through the material, I realized that there's this thing I think that just we all get wrong about leadership. And that's that leadership is, we tend to idolize leadership in this culture, right? We tend to put leaders on a pedestal. And don't get me wrong, I think there's some amazing leaders out there, people that I put on a pedestal, people that I look up to, people that I admire. But I think it gives us this sort of strange view of leadership as somehow this dramatic or exciting skill set, when really what I notice is that most of the time leadership is pretty boring. And sometimes the more interesting we try to make our leadership style, the worse we become at it. So I want to make a case for boring leadership today. And I'm going to kick off, feels a little junior high school, but I'm kicking off with a definition of the word, right? Leadership. And the simplest definition we've got is, right, it's the ability to guide an organization. And, we're just trying to push an organization, a group of people in the right direction. And maybe even push is actually the wrong word. Because in my experience, if I have the right people, meaning people that have, that I enjoy working with, that have the right skills that are needed in order to do the job that we're trying to accomplish, and that have the temperament to work with other people. If I have those people in a group, and then we also have good relationships with each other, and those relationships are characterized by trust, by care, by mutual respect, and then we have a clear direction that we're going in, we're going to figure it out, right? If the right people have good relationships and clear direction, you can kind of just let them go, right? You can sort of say, hey, you'll figure it out, we'll figure it out together. And I don't have to have all the answers as the leader. I don't have to provide a lot of great inspiration. I should I'm going to talk about this a little more in a sec, but when I talk about clear direction, it is towards something that we all find valuable in some way, right? If the goal or the direction isn't interesting or isn't valuable, or is worse, that we kind of find it suspect in some way, that we feel like what we're doing is bad, then that can be a real problem. If people don't get along with each other, that can be a real problem. And if I don't have the right skill sets in the room, that can be a real problem. Or if the people have a temperament that keeps them from developing good relationships, that can also be a problem, right? But really, if I get the right people, good relationships, and clear direction, then the leadership kind of takes care of itself. I'm going to give you there are two caveats here, obviously, that I've got written down, that we live in pretty complex times, there's lots of moving parts to our projects, and there's a lot of chaos out there, a lot of change, things hitting us all the time. So kind of like knowing how to get where we want to go, there's a lot of moving parts, which is complexity. And also sometimes the direction we're changing in or the environment we're operating in changes rapidly. So, and the way we handle these is we deal with relatively small teams. I'm a Scrum guy, so 7 plus or minus 2, right? To keep the lines of communication kind of clear and open and few. And then we also do some iterative planning, right? We have to meet on a regular basis to see hey, what's changed and what can we do about it? And these are obviously very structural issues. So many organizations, in my work as a consultant, I end up restructuring them so we can have small teams that can iteratively plan. But once you've got that, you don't need to do much, right? Again, if I got the right people with good relationships and clear direction, then I'm going to get where I want to go. And this is perhaps the more, sort of one of the more controversial ideas here, but that charisma is really optional when it comes to leadership. I think it's a real nice to have. I love charismatic people, but I've also been really sucked in by bad people, bad leaders who have a lot of charisma, right? And I would just say that it's better to believe in the goal that you're working towards and the team that you're working with than it is to believe in the leader who is leading the charge and taking you there. And so as a team leader, when I'm leading a team of people and when I'm working with leaders, What I want them to think through is, where is it we're trying to go? And is that worthy? Is that inspiring? Is that valuable? And are we fairly compensating people for their work in order to get there? There's a lot of other sort of things that kind of go along with all of that. But I really want people to be inspired by the people that they work with, not keeping their attention all on the leader, but keeping their attention on the team, and that team is working towards some kind of worthy goal. And this is, of course, I'm going to publish an article on this called Toxic Charisma relatively soon here. But that inspiring leaders are often pretty toxic and pretty self-serving, right? Think of all the despots in history. Think of all the demagogues who have led societies in really, really damaging and horrible directions. Think of all the organizational leaders, the bad CEOs, people at places like Enron or Theranos or WeWork, right? That these were often like inspiring leaders, people who really inspired, who had a really inspiring message, and people believed in the leaders. And that at the end of the day, those people turned out to be, less than stellar people and often very self-serving. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about this. Thanks so much for your time this morning. Happy sweater weather. And if you want to get information about the class that I'm building, again, this is for people who are put in charge of teams or aspects of organizations, kind of new leaders, people stepping into leadership roles. Please follow me. And also look out for my article, Toxic Charisma, which I think should be published pretty soon. I'm in talks about it right now. Anyway, thanks so much and have a wonderful day. Take care.